was good design of the 20th century? Although there was and is not one defining answer to this question, during the 1970s, German industrial designer Dieter Rams did approach this question by answering it with 10 influential principles. There is no doubt these principles still effectively guide the development of art and design to this day. As part of a catalogue that accompanied the 1944 to 1956 What is Good Design exhibitions at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. This publication aimed to educate and inform post-war consumers of just that. What was and what is good design? It was all about modernism. Modern design was emerging and beginning to take off. Dieter Rams believed in and promoted designing thoughtfully, responsibly, and intelligently. One particular designer whose products correspond with various principles by Dieter Rams was revolutionary American industrial designer Russel Wright. Wright was born during 1904 in Lebanon, Ohio, and passed away during 1976 in New York, New York. The iconic, multifaceted designer pursued a life and career driven by a strong naturalistic philosophy and modern creative practice. He committed himself to the notion that good design is for everyone. In 1920, Wright began his education in art and sculpture at the Cincinnati Academy of Art. Soon after, he followed a career in designing theatre sets alongside fellow American theatrical and industrial designer Norman Bell Jedds. As well as this, he focused on designing various products, such as celebrity caricature masks, miniature plaster animals, and spun pewter bar accessories. It was in 1927 that Russel Wright married Mary Small Einstein, whom subsequently became his business partner and an important asset to the growth and success of their lifestyle brand. Russell's innovative homeware designs, combined with Mary's talent and unique skills in marketing and sales, lay down the foundations for a powerful business duo. Russel Wright had lived and worked during a period of insurmountable amount of change. The United States of America had begun enjoying the benefits of substantial wealth, but was also left displaced during and after the First and Second World Wars. There was profound turmoil, and this was reflected in frenzied design during the early 20th century. There were conflicting emotions of self-containment interchanging with exuberance, fearfulness interchanging with confidence. The Great Depression was the worst economic downturn for the industrialized world, spanning from 1929 to 1939. Many desired unity and some kind of symbolism of hope. Streamlining would eventually translate into this symbolism. It became all about the power and speed of the machine. Russel Wright recognized that the Great Depression brought upon a different way of living. This meant that the American household had to run independently from servants who'd previously managed the duties in the home. He understood that Americans wanted their homes to be easy to care for. Inspired by this desire, Wright produced a series of homewares and furnishings, most often using solid wood, spun aluminium, stainless steel, earthenware, paper, and plastic. Wright's most memorable and successful collection that made him a household name was American Modern. His products remain true to his belief that good design is for everyone, and not merely for the wealthy. American Modern was introduced in 1937 and mass-produced by the Steubenville Pottery Company in Steubenville, Ohio. It sold around an incredible 250 million pieces over 20 years. This collection included a bowl, small plate, luncheon plate, dinner plate, water pitcher, and teapot, made of glazed earthenware. Earthenware is a clay that is shaped to its desired form on a pottery wheel. then hardened by firing. Post-firing, it must also be glazed so to seal and make the pores watertight. So let's go back to Dieter Rams' 10 Principles for Good Design. Let's look at how Russel Wright's American Modern collection corresponds to these. It is certainly evident that his overall aesthetic was innovative. If you look at the most prevalent trends for dinnerware during the 1930s and prior, Wright caters a minimalism and modernism that was no doubt revolutionary and entirely avant-garde during this era. He was all about returning back to basics and keeping it simple as opposed to embracing the elaborately embellished and highly adorned with motifs. The forms of his dinnerware were organic, fluidly curving, and finished with a softly toned glaze, which was an impactful introduction to modern, unobtrusive design. Russel Wright viewed the middle-class suburban American lifestyle as being more towards an informal, casual, and laid-back one in comparison to the European lifestyle. He encouraged easier living, aiming for various dinnerware pieces of his to be multi-purposeful. His handled bowls were intended to be used for a variety of food and could go from oven to table, reducing dishwashing. The pitcher's generic form also allowed for it to be used for all kinds of liquids. American Modern promoted versatility and was self-explanatory in terms of function due to its minimalistic appearance. These well-designed pieces certainly coincide with Dieter Rams' principles of good design makes a product understandable, combined with good design is as little design as possible. Russel Wright's American Modern was most definitely well executed and aesthetically beautiful due to its functional nature combined with its simple, innovative appearance, certainly in my opinion. With all of these qualities reflecting a variety of Dieter Rams' principles of what is good design, this collection is obviously a treasured one throughout art and design history. I myself am inspired by nature, just as Russel Wright was. Although this is so, most of my designs venture away from minimalism and embrace the elaborately adorned. Very often, I implement floral motifs throughout my work, and they are rather detailed. I focus on illustration, textile prints for sleepwear and accessories. These tend to be reminiscent of the old-fashioned, channeling characteristics similar to the Victorian era, in my view. The garments I illustrate are particularly relevant to art and design movements prior to modernism. My aesthetic projects more of a whimsical, playful essence that would mostly appeal to children and young adults. I associate visual busyness, bright colour, and elements of exaggeration and humour with targeting this audience more effectively than the household-running adults Wright was appealing to. All in all, I believe Wright's passion and confidence to leap forward and share a vastly unique and creative approach whilst modernism was only emerging is personally inspiring. You could go further to say Wright was very courageous artistically. I think good design is very much about that, being innovative and asserting confidence as you do so. I will no doubt incorporate qualities from his work into my own, as they are simply beautiful and strongly representative of good design.